Flosstube, welcome back. I am Jenny. This is my channel Stitching Jennie, and this is Flosstube number 23, and today is June 26th, 2025. It's been since the beginning of April since I filmed last. A lot has been going on with us as like a family. I've had my anniversary. We've had a daughter graduate college, a daughter graduate high school. We have been on a family vacation, and we're back and finally like settled in. So I have the summer off. Being an aide at an elementary school, I get summers off. So I have a lot of fully finishes that I've done that I get to share today. So let's jump kind of right in. My first fully finish was the Sea Birth Sampler by Anna X Stitch on Etsy. This was a gift for my sister for her daughter, so my niece. And my sister had come out to visit, and she decided she wanted me to wait instead of sending the cross stitch to her. She'd rather wait until she came out to take it back. So I laced it, and she has the frame at her house in Canada, so all she had to do was just like slip it in. I did take, I don't think I did a video. I think I just took a picture, and I will insert that here. And this was stitched on a 32 count Lugana that I dyed myself to kind of make it look like ocean water. And I will see if I know she texted me a picture of kind of the whole setup with the other two pieces that I stitched for her, but I don't think it's very good. I'll have to ask her if she can take a better picture for me. And if I get that before this uploads, I will add that in as well. The second fully finished that I have is a piece called Fox by Craftibo Cross on Etsy. And this is what that piece looks like. I do believe that this is a video, and this is stitched on 40 count Picture This plus Valor, and it is a retirement gift that I gave to my boss at the school who is retiring. So this is that video here.
Okay, I have a new fully finish. I have this finished for my boss at work. She is retiring. Today is her party. It starts like right now, but this is my fox. Underneath the blue is the name of our elementary school, and then I have the years that she's worked for our school, 2008 to 2025. And then this is our cute fox. And I will mention in the video who this is by. It's from an Etsy seller. It is on 40 count to Picture This plus Valor. And that's actually pretty true to color right there. It is actually, as most Picture This plus linens, it runs tight and small, so it's closer to like a 43 count than a 40 count. But it's beautiful and I love it, and I'm excited to go give it to her right now.
And that was a really great pattern to follow. The only kind of challenge was some of those colors are very similar, so sometimes it was a little tricky to tell in poor lighting where I had stitched, but it was really easy to follow. A great pattern. I highly recommend it. Really enjoyed stitching that. I spent a lot of time stitching it. I barely made it in time. Literally finished stitching it the night before the retirement party and had finished lacing it like 10 minutes before the retirement party started. So it was throwing it in the frame, did my video, and raced up to the retirement party. So that one was a really close one, especially with all the things that I had going on. It was kind of a challenge to get that one finished on time. So as far as the rest of them, I'll have them all right here. So the first one is Hive Rules by Primrose Cottage. This one I stitched on 32 count antique white Lugana. And this one, I don't know if I can get it all in. Well, let's see. There, that's all of it. So to kind of take it in close. Okay, so this is on a metal sign. It was white. It said welcome. My sister found this on clearance and she bought one for herself and one for me, and she was kind enough to chalk paint it, and she waxed it and had it all ready for me, and it's been ready for a couple of years. And I'm hoping that some of the other Primrose rules are a similar size. So let's see, I laced it and put magnets on the back, and so that just magnetizes right in. So I laced it, and then I did some ruched ribbon around the side. This took a full spool of ribbon to get around it. I kind of have decided I need to start here on this corner and go around so that the bottom has, if it runs out a little bit, it's not as noticeable. You can kind of tell I kind of had to try to tack it right there. So anyway, really love this one. It's probably my favorite of the ones that I finished. Maybe should have saved this one for last to show. The next one, sorry, I didn't mean to kind of just bumping the camera. The next one I fully finished is called Joy, and this one is by Barefoot Needleart. Let me put it against a white background for you. Okay, so this one I had stitched. I started it December of the year that we went to Hawaii for a family vacation back in 2023. Yes, so this is what the back looks like. And I just wrote with a marker on the back the year. So I started this one in December of that year as kind of a memento to the fact that we saw sea turtles while we were there in Hawaii, and I went to go finish it this winter and I couldn't find it. It kind of disappeared in the stack, and so I just kind of didn't worry about it. So I was able to find it when I was doing some finishing, and so I finished that. This is a chenille yarn that I got at the craft store, and I did use some fuzzy, not fuzzy stuff. What's the other one? Anyway, some of the furry cross stitch thread for the hat to kind of make it fluffy. So that is this one. It is just like a flat finish, and was really happy with how that one turned out. This one, it was kind of funny. I laced both pieces. I used a an oval template that I had that my mom gave me from her scrapbooking days, and used that to do it. So I laced it, and then I hand stitched it together, but then I started to hand stitch the yarn on and didn't like how it pulled on the yarn, so I ended up gluing on the yarn, which kind of is funny after taking all the time to hand lace it. But I do like that it was a lot tighter fit than the times that I've glued it. So there's that one. Then my next piece is an Emily Call piece. This is I Am Enough. That's this piece. I did this as my easel back flat fold, so you can see it's like that. Just like that. So I added some ruched ribbon. This one I also laced, but ended up gluing them together. And that's the pretty fabric that I used on the back. I use about a 1-inch strip. You just do it basically like you would a normal flat fold, but instead of making a full second sandwich, you just use a 1-inch piece, and it's a little bit harder to do just because you're trying to glue this to the middle of this piece, and it's a little bit trickier than gluing like a bigger piece to it. So I would try a regular flat fold first and then try doing it this way. I wouldn't recommend starting with this one unless you're pretty experienced with it. It's a little tricky getting the flap from the back and then the ribbon from the back onto the back piece of this sandwich set. So anyway, love this one. This one will be going in my bedroom. The floss I used for this one, it actually, so this is a 40 count mystery fabric. I think it might be platinum, but it was from a grab bag that I got from my needlework shop that has since closed. And it's similar to some of the ones that I have that are platinum. We can compare it. I do have a whip that I have in platinum, but the floss is Gentle Arts Tropical Ocean, and so it's got some nice variegation in there. So there is that one. I love her whole I Am series. Okay, so then this next piece is called Liberty Pennies by Hands On Design. This is stitched on 32 count chalkboard linen. And this is on so I laced it to a board, and then I glued it on top of this flower frame. So the opening is actually only a fraction of what the frame is. So I still thought it was cute enough to just glue the whole piece to the outside edge of it instead of putting it inside. So I love how the flower kind of mimics the little daisies that are in it. And I think I, for the most part, did it as called for. There might be a little bit of back stitching, I think maybe on the little baby red flowers that I didn't do. but the rest of it I did. And this frame came from Hobby Lobby. So that's what that looks like when it's all sitting on its own. So I love how that one turned out. So I've had that mostly for a year now and just hadn't gotten to it before the holiday. And then my last piece is from Cherry Hill Stitchery. This is a new finish that I just finished stitching it. And so the fact that it's fully finished, like right after I finished it, is kind of a miracle. This one has taken me a lot longer to stitch than it should have. It's taken me 2 years, and it was kitted during COVID. So I changed some of the colors, but this one is by Cherry Hill Stitchery. It's called Sweet Land of Liberty. And there it is. And I stitched this on 32 count Graceful Gray, and the blue, the navy blue, I changed to Michael's Navy, and one of the greens I switched to Weeks Grasshopper, and those are both Weeks colors. The called for colors were not available when I was kitting it up, so I did my best to order something that I thought might work and be similar. And then I laced this one. I glue it to this backboard that I put this star fabric on, and then I glued it to this wood board. It has a hanger. I'm not sure if I'll use it or not, but I liked having that option. I'll wait until I pull out my patriotic, all of my patriotic pieces before I decide what I'm going to do. I might just cut it off, but there is that piece. So really happy with how that one turned out. There's a lot of color change in this. The greens are 2 different greens. So going from like the star to then the green to then the red. I finally, what I did was I left all of my needles threaded and just kept like switching out to the next color, which made it go a lot faster. If I were to stitch this again, I think I would just get a really nice variegated floss and do all the stems and leaves together. So if you have this in your stash, that's what I would recommend. And then you can just do maybe the bushes of the house a different color than what the grass is. But it was a lot of work, and I don't feel like it was enough work to merit the 2 different colors, but that's just me. A lot of people like that. I just felt like it was just as I'd get stitching, I'd have to stop and restart, and I don't carry floss very far, so it was a lot of starts and stops for me. So, and I didn't want to go too far over counting because it was just far enough that I was worried I'd miscount and have to rip it all out. So I wanted to put in those flowers every time. So anyway, but I think it's turned out really pretty. I really liked it. I also have all of my pieces. I have the like a batting. That's the word I'm looking for. I put batting underneath between the mat board and the stitching, partly just because I feel like it smooths it out a little bit. It makes it have some dimension that I like. But anyway, so that's all of my fully finishes. So that's, I think, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 since April. So really great job. Of course, most of those were just on Thursday and Friday of last week. I had three finishes that I have not fully finished. So my first one is BFF Bunnies. That one is by Luminous Fiber Arts. This is stitched on a 32 count. Picture this plus Nessie. And that's what that looks like. I really love this fabric for a spring piece. I feel like the brighter spring colors really pop on it. I did buy a piece of this for a piece that I have planned that's a little more of pastel colors, and they don't look as good on it. I can show you when we get to that, but I was kind of disappointed. I think I'll have to just hand dye a piece for that one. But as far as like the brighter spring colors, I really love this picture, this plus Nessie for it. And you're supposed to put some initials here and here. It's supposed to be for your best friend. I chose to leave that out, and I put in I mimicked these little red flowers. Not red, I mean, they're a bright pink, but so I mimicked the small ones to kind of fill in that section a little bit. So that is my finish for those. My next finish is a Emily Call piece. This was my Sunday stitching. This was He Is Risen. No, actually it's not called that. It's called Easter Wreath. And this one is again by Emily Call. It's stitched on 40 count Verdal, which is an even weave. And I love the colors. I love how quick it was to stitch. I think I stitched this 3 Sundays. I finished it on Easter Sunday, and really love how pretty it is. My plan is to do a square finish similar to this. And I have a couple of pinks and a couple of blues that I'm auditioning for the ribbon to see which one looks best. So anyway, I'm excited to have that one finished. It was in the pile that it just hadn't gotten to. It's all ironed and all ready to be finished. And then this other one is by Tiny Modernist. This one is every season. Let's see. Every season, this is the summer octagon. And that's what it looks like. This is stitched on 32 count Witchelt Sea Lily, and it is supposed to have all 4 seasons and then like a little square in between them and then like a saying in the middle. I have chosen to stitch each season separately, and they will be their own pillow, and like an octagon shaped pillow. And then also there will be a Just Another Button Company button added to each one. In this one, you'll notice that there's no flower here. That's because there will be a Just Another Button Company daisy there. And it just barely fits. So these are beautiful. I love the coloring on them. I only have one more left to go. And my TV is turning on. Okay. Sorry about that. I don't know why my TV was turning on. Anyway, I am going to Stitch West in October, and Tiny Modernist is the featured designer. And so my hope is that I will have I have one pillow completely finished. I have, this will be my third season stitched. So I have two that need to be turned into pillows. And then I have the winter that still needs to be stitched. So maybe I can stitch the winter one before I go. I'm not putting that pressure on myself, but also it'd be really fun to have them all stitched. This needle minder is one that my college daughter made for me. She works at a place that has a laser. This one I think was made when she was in high school, actually, at their makers area at school. Okay, so now I've had a lot of new starts. There were a few of those, like the fox was a new start. So some of those FFOs were new starts. I have a lot. The Easter wreath was a new start. Anyway, I have a lot of new starts. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 new starts. So I've kind of been going and going with new starts. So I have them all kind of sitting in their bags because some of them I have some things that I want to show along with them. So the first one is Easter Trifles by Shepherd's Bush. That's what they look like. I bought the kit. So when you buy something from Shepherd's Bush, their kits are pretty awesome. So if you buy a kit, it comes with the stitching fabric for each piece, and it's in a gallon Ziploc bag essentially. It comes with backing fabric for each piece. Here's another one of it comes with the ribbon to put around the edge of the pillow. It has the buttons. They do Just Another Button Company buttons. Then it has beads, because a lot of times what they'll do with their ribbon is they'll ruche it like this, and then they'll put like a bead on every little indent, like here and here and here. So it makes a really pretty effect. So it includes the beads, the colored beads for those, and they even have a little heart that they put a needle on, little paper heart. So, and it includes all of the flosses. So if you're going to be fully finishing them, if you have a lot of the floss that you need to purchase anyway, it is a really great opportunity to just kind of buy it and get it all done at once. It can be a little pricey, like this one was $77 by the time you round it up, but buying all of the supplies, it would have taken me a lot longer, a lot more money. I was having to buy all of the flosses except a couple anyway. So for me, I just bought the kit. So really pretty flosses, and they're super helpful. Love the ladies at Shepherd's Bush. So as far as what my start looks like, let me slide this back in. So this one is, let me show you. It's this Easter egg hunt right here with the little eggs. And this is what that looks like. This is a purpley fabric, I think. Okay, let's try in case you saw that. lettering behind it. Anyway, there you can kind of see it's a light lavender. And then this needle minder I got at Shepherd's Bush as well. It's might be Flamingo Toes or My Big Toe Design. I'm not sure which one off the top of my head. Maybe Flamingo Toes. But my dog, he loved hedgehogs, and so now that he's passed away, like, hedgehogs remind me of him. So I love getting little hedgehogs, and this one was a super cute one. So I got that one. So this one is stitched with all the called for just because I bought the kit. Most of those are weeks. There's a few classic colorworks in there as well. I'm gonna leave out that chart and make a working copy of it instead. Okay, next piece was I Am Loved by Emily Call. So on my bags, typically, some of these I have not done, but so I'll have a bag, and then what I do is I use my, what's the word I'm looking for, Catherine? Oh, she's asleep. My daughter's in here hanging out with me. I use my label maker. That's the word I'm looking for, to label what the piece is. So at a glance, I can tell what is in the bag. This one is I Am Loved by Emily Call. This one I started for my 23rd wedding anniversary in April. And that's it. This one is a Pink to Peach variegated, I don't know, kind of a peachy pink. It's still pink, but and that one I think is Peony. Let me double check. Yes, Peony. And this is on a 40 count white Burdal again, and it was kind of between whether I wanted that one or the bright pink. I might stitch this twice and do the bright pink because I think the bright pink is really pretty too. This one is Strawberry Fields, so I might stitch it for my daughter in the bright pink. And this needle minder is just a little clay piece that I bought on Etsy, and then I added a magnet too. So it wasn't originally a needle minder. I just thought it was a super cute clay piece. I think it was originally supposed to be like the center of a bow. So if you look up like clay pieces, that's where that one is. I was looking for the other one that I finished, the I'm Brave, and I didn't realize it was still a part of this. That would make sense of why I couldn't find it. So there's I'm Brave, and there's I Am Loved. I was gonna fully finish this one when I did the I Am Enough, and I couldn't find it. Oh, it's been a few months, let me tell you, of crazy. That would explain why I couldn't find it. I feel really silly now. It's fine. It's fine. I haven't stitched on this one since my anniversary, the end of April, so that would explain why I didn't remember that. Anyway, so there's that. My next piece is my other anniversary piece. This one is going to be kind of a long term. So it was my 23rd anniversary. My goal is to finish this for my 25th anniversary. So you can see there's my label, A Marriage Is. This was the bag that they gave us at Stitch West. It was made for us by Boulder Valley Stitching. And it has like a little tag here that says Stitch West, and on the back it had her website. This is by Kooler Designs. And this is kind of what it looks like. So my goal is to just stitch on it a little bit at a time. This is supposed to be like a dimensions where they have different numbers of flosses, like stitch this area with 1 floss, stitch this one with not floss, strands, like 3 strands here. But I decided I wanted to stitch it on a 40 count, so it would end up being, I think, kind of like a 8x10 type frame size. So that's what I did. Okay, here we go. So this is on a 40 count white fur doll, and that's my little start. Again, I've been really busy and haven't gotten back to it. I also had my husband make a working copy for me of the first few pages, so then I could mark it. I was starting to get lost, so that was another thing. This needle minder I got at Stitch West, maybe from Abby at Top Knot Stitcher. And then I asked my daughter, so my daughter who graduated college, her job was in the engineering building in their makerspace for the engineering classes. And so she wouldn't have access to the lasers anymore because she graduated. So she asked me what needle minders I wanted, and one of them was a beach themed one. So she made this one for this piece because I knew it would be a long-term project and I wanted a fun needle minder for it. But I also loved how my hedgehog really matched the colors. So she brought it home to me after my anniversary. So the hedgehog might get moved to another piece. But there's that one. Sorry, I normally leave them out of their bags, but I had a couple of things inside the bags of some of these that I wanted to share. This piece is by Fuzzy Fox Designs. This one is in honor, there it is. This one is in honor of my oldest graduating college. I started on her graduation day, and this one, this one was a PDF, so I will put it in a picture of that here. And this, I believe, is the animal cell. Animal cell. I'm also going to do a plant cell for her, but this is where I'm at. And my daughter is a biology education major, so she will be doing her student teaching this fall and be teaching biology as well as earth science. She currently works at a butterfly, like a bug museum essentially, and then she works at, my TV keeps getting turned on. I wonder if it's connected to my daughter's TV. So sorry about the beeping. And then anyway, she also works at the aquarium. So she's big into animals, big into like plants and all that. So she made herself a needle minder to go with it. This is, it's called a leaf sheep. Oh, I don't, what are they?
They're sea slugs.
It's a sea slug, and she likes them a lot because they photosynthesize.
They steal the chloroplast from the algae that they eat, and they can photosynthesize it with it for up to a year.
Okay, so really cool. She loves them. My plan is to finish this cell as a in a petri dish and so that she can have it in her room. So that one is super fun for her. I have to ask her what the things are. This one has beads that go on it, which I will have to ask because it's like, sew a bead on the mitochondria. That's one of the words, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Powerhouse with the cell mom. You should know this.
I should know this. I'm not a science person. So I will have to ask her to interpret that. I guess I could look at the picture and figure it out, but anyway. So that one has some different beads that'll go on it as well, and I have those here. So those are in honor of her. Then I have my next one is that one on 40 count as well? That one's on 32 count white Lugana, and it was by Fuzzy Fox Designs on Etsy. This one is called Nevermore. This one I have started for my daughter who just graduated high school. She loves crows. If you remember, if you've been watching, I made her a crow for Christmas. I've gotten some things for her. So this one is by Satsuma Street, and it is one of her paper kits. So this was started for her graduation. That's where I'm at. There's not a whole lot more of stitching actually left, just the skull and roses and a little bit of the color in the wings. So it should be fast once I get back to it. I just haven't super gotten back to it. Again, this is one of the needle minders that my daughter made. I have several pieces suddenly that my high school senior wanted me to stitch for her. So we made a crow needle minder. So that will go on all of the pieces that she wants me to stitch for her. And I'm not gonna stick this back in a plastic bag, but there is a piece that I do want to show. So this is a floss keep that my daughter made for me. I helped her design this one. So that's what it looks like. And then there are the holes that I can put the floss on, and it does have little tiny numbers next to the floss so that on the back of the chart I can write which number corresponds with that floss. So that is super helpful. She also made a needle minder that actually matches this, which I will show you at the end. It didn't make it into this kit because it was a crow. So I'm just gonna set these to the side so I don't have to try to put those back in. Then I had a trip to Hawaii. We went to Kauai and I had a couple of new starts for that. I had, the first one is Fragments in Time by Summerhouse Stitchworks. This is number 7 and it's from 2021 because it's a series that she does. So this is there. And this one I started, I think, at the airport. And it is stitched on that platinum. This one is 32 count platinum linen. And that's where I'm at. This needle minder is actually a pin that I got from our last trip to Hawaii, and I pulled off the pin part and glued a magnet to it. I do have a couple of pins that I bought on this trip. I did not bring them down, so you can see them once they're actually made into needle minders. But they make super cute needle minders, and I'm using all the called for flosses. And something that's really fun to do that I've decided I really actually almost like maybe better than the needle minders is to get a keychain. We stopped at a lighthouse that's on Kauai. I can insert a picture of that here. Or, you know, there, so I got the keychain that goes along with this lighthouse. Sorry, it has lots of little charms on it that I'm trying to flip so you can actually see. So I got the keychain, and then I use that and I put a binder ring around the keychain like that and turn it into a floss keep. So it reminds me of our trip to Hawaii. So this has like a turtle, a nene goose, a whale, an albatross, the lighthouse, and then the name of the lighthouse. So really just a fun keepsake. So that's why I kept that one all together in the bag, was to be able to show you that. I think that goes. Maybe I should leave those charts out because I'm pretty sure they go with. Here, you figure it out. Do they go with the lighthouse?
When we were at the lighthouse, we also saw red-footed birds.
Oh yes, the red-footed boobies. So she saw all the birds, all the animals. It was very much a stop for that.
Yes, this is lighthouse.
Biology major. So you can put my stuff away for me. Okay. Then I have another start that I had. This is a Mill Hill kit. It is the Spring Bouquet collection. This is the Seagull. And there, that's kind of it. Go ahead. And she just left. So this is the Seagull. And I started stitching it, and how I do the kits is I take a index card and I punch holes on the side, and then I write the number and the floss shape for the key, and so it's a little bit easier. And then this is where I'm at. This is stitched on the kit perforated paper, and it's a light blue. Again, this is a pin that I turned into a needle minder. This one is from Volcano National Park. Now this one I had to unpick all of the light brown all the way back up to here and then restitch it. Actually the dark brown. No, light brown. Anyway, one of the browns I had to unpick like the whole thing and then restitch it. A lot of this, most of this was restitched at the airport. So we had a red-eye flight to LA, and then our flight kept getting delayed. I think we 5-hour delay by the time we finally scheduled to get onto a different plane. My husband's schedule got us on a totally different flight because the pilot, they couldn't find a pilot to fly the plane of our original. Sorry, put away a needle before I lose it. So it just kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed, and it had been delayed again when my husband finally went and talked to the ticket desk and was able to get us on a different flight home. So by the time we were finished, we had been traveling, I think, 16 hours. We were done. We were ready to be home. So, great trip. Lots of good memories, though. My last new start was a new start for Flag Day, which also was the 250th anniversary of the Army and military in the United States. So my husband's grandparents, his grandma was in the Army as a secretary, and then his grandpa was part of the Air Force. And then my grandfather, who passed away before I was born, he was part of the Army. He was a military police in the Army at one point. So the military kind of plays a big part in our family. So I decided to start Home of the Free. And this says Home of the Free because of the Brave. This is by Primrose Cottage. And I am stitching this on 32 count Stormy Night, Vintage Stormy Night. It is the cousin to Vintage Country Mocha. And this is where I'm at. This needle minder is from our trip to Hawaii. It actually was a magnet, and it even was the appropriate kind of magnet, but my needle doesn't stick to it super well. So that's kind of the problem that you run into some of the pins, is that even with the good magnets, they still don't want to stick. Again, I have another one that my daughter made for me of the flag and a heart. This one, the red is called for Louisiana hot sauce, which I had, but then I changed two of the blues. The dark blue is Blacksmith Blue. It's a classic Colorworks. And then the light blue is Blue Jeans. It's a Weeks Blue Jeans. Just so that there would be that variation in it a little bit more. I really like that. And this is the piece that I've been working on this week since then. And also, I wanted to show as I drop all my floss and stuff falls out. I also got another keychain that I'm using for my floss. And this one has a pineapple, plumeria, and then like a little tassel. And then what I tend to do with my floss, this one's a great one to show. I punched a secondary hole so that I can hang the piece that I'm working with on that. So that's how I use my flosses, so that I have somewhere for those to go. And it really is helpful with those variegated flosses, especially, so that I know which piece I should be pulling from. I just kind of set that down. Okay, so that's the end of my new starts. I have some whips, just a couple. I have 3 that I've been working on. So I have mentioned that I want to do like a wall. This wall behind me will be different pictures of us outside, from like camping to hiking to family pictures to, you know, whatever. But I wanted to throw in some cross stitch as well. So I have this piece. It's by Stitchrovia. It's called Not All Who Wander. And this is what it looks like. And you can get that on her, I think it's an Etsy shop. And this is, oh, let me move this thread a little bit out of the way. Okay, so this one is where I'm at. This, I did not write down what it is. It looks like a 40 count Verdal, a white. My problem, okay, I have a mistake. My problem is that I missed one of the lines in the W. So there should be one more line in the width here going down. I missed that. The problem is I have stitched all of this based off of that word. So if I am to fix this, I have to rip all of that out. I am not willing to do that. So it has been fine until I've put in this backstitch wording right here. So it says, not all that wander are lost. So there's supposed to be the word are and then the lost. So what I'm thinking I can do is I can take this back stitch and raise it up and rip that out. So I kind of got frustrated. I found it late at night. I was mad. I just kind of threw it to the side. So what I think I'm going to do is cut my thread here, start the next letter. So I have part of the H done. I'm going to move to, I think it's an A, because all that, so I think that's the word that. Move to the A and move above what the H is at to kind of get the idea of where it would go, and then rip that out so that I don't keep restitching it in the same spot. And anyway, move it up like 2 or 3 squares essentially. So that one's close to being done. It still makes me kind of mad, to be honest. And I'm trying the new they're probably old, new to me, Nerd hoops, and to see how I like it. There's a Nerd stand that is somewhat inexpensive, more reasonable than most, let's put it that way, but still good quality, that I'm considering getting. I've started going to a lot of stitch nights at Pine Needles, which is a quilting / cross stitch store by me, and I also to take to Stitch West because I like to stitch double-handed. I don't want to take my Lowry stand. So I'm contemplating that one, Helen D just did a review on one of them. They have a new one that's like a clamp style instead that you don't have to have for the nerd hoop. What she did was she changed out a couple of the bolts to make it have a wider span, so then you can put a Q-snap in it. So my original idea was to test out the nerd hoop to see if I liked it well enough that I could take it to these stitch nights in a nerd hoop and be content. They're okay. I still prefer a Q-snap over a nerd hoop. I find them, I mean, they keep it tight for the most part, but it's a little bit harder to tighten it than the Q-snap. It's a little more finicky as you're putting it together. And I am worried that the creases won't come out as well. All of the pieces I've used it on are bigger than the stitching, so I don't have to worry about trying to get out the crease. So check out Helen D. I will link her below, especially that review video. And I'm kind of waiting for it to come back into stock on Amazon and see how big of a price difference it is from the one that only works with the nerd hoops. If you read on the Nerd website, they don't recommend it for a Q-snap, but if you change those bolts, Helen D said it will work on a Q-snap. So her and her dad made a couple of modifications to hers, but check out that video. I'll link that below. So anyway, we'll get back to that one when I'm no longer angry. My next whip is While Away the Hours by Petal Pusher, and that is what it looks like. And this one I've done a few modifications to. So I've changed the colors so that the wording will stand out more. This is stitched on 32 count something lace, French lace. And I changed some colors, and the only one that I did write down was this one is Shamrock. And then I use, I think it's parchment that's called for these, and I couldn't read it because of my fabric. And so I wanted to be able to read it really well, so I ripped it out and used a gray variegated. And if I had the bag close to me, I would look. I think the gray I used is Classic Colorworks Baking Tin. And then I forgot to bring down the color that was used for the dandelion stem. So I went up to go look for it. I couldn't find it. So I grabbed kind of a brownish green color and for the stem of the dandelion. But everything else is called for. Anyway, all I have to do is do the dandelion. And there's a little flower here and the word flowers. And it says, I could while away the hours conferring with the flowers. Oh, and there's like a diamond border at the bottom. The picture's kind of hard to see. So anyway, it's getting close. It shouldn't take me too terribly long. I'm kind of running out of space. Okay. That's what happens when you don't film in like 3 months. The last one is Cricut Collection Summer. Again, not the greatest picture. And I picked this one back up for the first day of summer. and worked on it for 2 days. And I was working on the M, the second M. This is stitched on 32 count Glacier by Picture This Plus. And I'm stitching this, I started it with Belinda Z. And I just haven't done a whole lot with it. I think last summer was kind of busy. This summer is kind of busy. I have a lot of things that I'm wanting to do for gifts this year. I don't know. I don't know how much of it's going to get done this year. I don't know. We'll see. I do like it. It's just, I feel like I stitched for a long time and don't see. I mean, that's a lot of stitching in those letters. A lot of white stitching too. I use Cosmo white floss for my white, and I feel like it lays a lot nicer. Let's see if you can. So that is a great tip. I feel like the coverage is really nice. It lays a lot nicer. It's kind of a softer floss than a DMC. It's still cotton, but it's a Japanese cotton. Really like it. Highly recommend that. So that is all of the whips. Now, whip go and monthly numbers. Whip go hasn't always been going super well. This month, I think I'm supposed to stitch a house. And the piece that I had planned on stitching on, I haven't pulled out yet. And so I don't know if I am going to keep that one as my whip go or use the Every Season Summer that I just finished. It had a house on it. And then the other one is black floss, which if I stitched on Nevermore some more, I mean, that would be it. So that one I might even have stitched on it at all. Have I stitched on it this month? Doesn't look like it. So instead of going back all the way to April, I'll just tell you my May. In May I had one new start, which is Nevermore, which is really funny because I already have like 3 new starts already this month. I had 2 finishes. I had the Fox and Sweet Land of Liberty, which I've now since fully finished. I had 1 FFO of the Fox for my boss. I stitched 27 of 31 days, and I actually met my whip go goal, which I used Every Season Summer. Oh, I guess that was May, not June, so I can't use that one. And then Sweet Land of Liberty, it was number 19 and 5. What were these? So my whip goes are more of a general. So 5 was something blue because I was working on all of the water on that piece. And number 19, that one was using fancy floss. So those were both for that. So I actually met whip go, and that was the first time in a long time. So we'll figure something out. Oh, I guess I finished it in June, Every Season Summer. And I did stitch on it 3 days, so that might be my thing. We'll see. So that's my whip go numbers. I think for next month, I don't remember. I don't remember what next month is. Did I write it down? I have not written July down. So I guess we'll find out together what I stitch. Okay, so as far as purchases. Okay, I have some Etsy purchases. So I did Emily Call, I Am Worthy, and this is what that looks like. Then Helen D also talked about on one of her videos Nath Nalu on Etsy, and I looked it up because I liked the piece that she had, and they happened to be having a sale when I looked it up. So these are the pieces that I bought from them here. And the moth will be for my senior who just graduated. She wants that. And then there's another piece that's for her. And then I picked the ghost tree. It's like a ghost, the jack-o'-lantern, and a skeleton in like a old like photo, one of the instant photos. And that one I thought was really cute, and I might do that one for an exchange because I think it would stitch up pretty quickly, and it's not something that people have probably seen. Then the bird is funny. I actually already had the bird in my hearted. I had seen the winter bird and had already had it in my wish list. Then I have a piece from Dear Suki Crafts, and that one looks like this. And that's going to be a gift for one of my friends. She was a librarian, and she is now going to start teaching this year in a classroom. And her classroom, she's going to have an owl that the kids will get to take home and write about their adventures that they had over the weekend. So the owl will be perfect, and I will write her name next to, like, I'll stitch her name next to the owl on top of the books. So those are my Etsy purchases. These are the other needle minders that my daughter made for me. I have 2 bunnies, the matching coordinating flower to that floss, and then a ghost with a pumpkin. And she actually made one for my sister as well. That one was supposed to be our Stitch West piece, but like the needle minder for us to coordinate at Stitch West, but she got really excited and wanted to just give it to her aunt. So, you know, it's fine. She can have it early. And then these are the other 2 magnets that I got in Hawaii as part of that set. And there was a Bird of Paradise one, but I don't have it at the moment. Then my sister and I went to a stitch night at Pine Needles, and she hadn't gotten me my birthday present yet, so I got to go shopping as my birthday present. So first of all, we got a Lori Holt vinyl bag. These have those bottoms. I don't know what they're called, so that it's a wider bottom. It has the perfect little loop, so if you got the matching zipper charm, you could put that on there. And this poor tag, it's been on, like, this is the 3rd 4th bag that it's been on, so I need to just make a new one. Really nice quality, really impressed. The inside's just, you know, a fabric. This one's a cream. Highly recommend them. This one, I think, they run from between $12 to $16, $17. So depending on maybe how new it is. But this one is one of my bigger pieces that has more floss. This is Autumn Town by Autumn Lane Stitchery, and it has a lot of flosses. So it fits all of those super nicely. You could easily put in a Q-snap, like a big Q-snap. They have smaller glam bags that are, I don't know if they're Lori Holtz, but anyway, I really like those. So I want to get the flag one. I think the flag one's super cute. So she bought me that. And then she bought me 3 charts from a newer designer. She first had, this is her first market. It's Cherry Blossoms. So the first one is Mistletoe Kisses. The next one is kind of a similar feel. It's called Snow Day. I couldn't decide, so my sister's like, get both. I'm like, perfect. And then the Vintage Hair, which if you watch Snug Harbor Crafts, they talked about that in their latest video, this one. And Kef said that this reminded her of those sugar eggs that have like the hard icing flowers around the outside, and then inside there's like a little, it's like a little bunny scene usually inside of it. That's what this reminded her of, and I kind of agree. But these finishing pieces are by, let's see if it says, oh, you can get them at her shop, cherryblossomquilting.com. So I don't know if, yeah, so maybe she makes those herself. Really great pieces. The charts, let me look at the charts. I haven't looked at the charts, and then I can tell you if it might be, like, I like the back. It has kind of the colors listed. It has a DMC conversion. It has a color chart as well as a black and white chart. So the color chart is on the cardstock, and then there's a paper black and white chart. So that's actually really, really nice. So I would highly recommend looking at the charts. I would totally recommend them. I like that she has both options, which is rare in a printed chart. So anyway, really like that. Really, really like that. Then while I was there, I bought myself Seaside Tiny Town. We'll go like that, because I'd been wanting to get it, and I was looking for ocean themed pieces for my trip, knowing that I couldn't get all the flosses in time for my trip and decide on fabric and stuff like that, but had been wanting it, so I just got it. Then I also got Tiny Modernist's Forest Friends. This is another one that I saw Helen D stitch, and I'm wondering about putting it on that Valor fabric that I used for my Boss's box. I really liked how the oranges looked on that, So I want to get another piece and see if, and do a floss toss on that and see if those colors look really nice. As nice as I hope they'll look. Then I placed a 1, 2, 3 stitch order. Actually, I placed a couple. This one is for my daughter who likes ravens. This one's gonna take some color changes because it's stitched with a couple of water lily silks and a bunch of petite treasure braid, and has beads. Like, it's got all the things, so very glammed out. But this one is called Raven, and it's by Marnik Designs, apparently from Canada. So that's what that looks like. And my daughter has been big. I mean, she loves hot cocoa, and her aunt bought her for Christmas a raven, or a crow mug. Actually, it's a crow. It's a crow. And she likes ravens and crows. And it's a crow mug, and it's something like, I'm just a girl who loves crows, or something like that. And so she has started to call it, instead of cocoa, it's croco, like croco. And so what she wants me to do is, it says, it's been foretold there is coffee in my future. She wants me to instead stitch, it's been foretold there is either cocoa in my future, or preferably croco in my future. So anyway, this one's going to take some thinking. I'm going to have her help me. She's my daughter who helps me pick colors. And so anyway, that one's going to take some time before it gets started. I don't know that I'll put the little heart treasures. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that one. That was a her decision. Then I ordered from 1, 2, 3 Stitch. That was also from 1, 2, 3 Stitch. I ordered the new Heart and Hand shepherd frill that goes with the Nativity Tiny Town. So it's a little chart. It's only 40 by 30. So I think probably what I'll end up doing is doing the Nativity Town. Then there's the frill of the wise men, and then there's the frill of the shepherds. And so I think, sorry, I have a tickly nose. I think I'll do those frills as separate little not stand-ups, flat folds. And then the Tiny Town as its own flat fold, so they can kind of be turned in a little bit. I think that's my plan. So as far as, so that's all of my purchases. And as far as my plans, let's see. My friend Anna and Christy from Java Girl Stitches are hosting a stitch along that starts on July 1st. This stitch along is #SweetTasteOfSummerSal, and I will put that link down below where they talk about that, to her video, to Christy's video, as well as, hopefully I remember how to write it, the hashtag here, Sweet Taste of Summer Sal. So the idea is that you stitch some type of fruit, whether that's watermelon, cherries, strawberries, lemons, something along those lines. So I do have the summer. It does have some grapes and maybe cherries and maybe blueberries. Really tricky to see. That was partly why I was trying to get the other M in, was I thought I could do a few of the blueberries, a few of the grapes, and call that good as far as that. But also gives me an excuse to buy a new chart. Okay. I've been wanting to do since I saw Lost Our Needles. I think it was Allie who stitched it. Stitched the Lemon Tear by Erin Elizabeth Designs. So there's that. And so why not use this as my excuse? Is my kitchen's done in lemons? No, it's done in green apples. So it's not really gonna fit. It might just go up with my bee stuff. I do bee in June. So maybe I'll put up some lemon stuff on a separate table in my front room. But I had originally bought, let's see if I can get to it, a piece of Nessie linen to go with it. But those colors actually blend in to that Nessie linen. I just did a floss toss before I came down. So Allie did hers on like an aqua color, and I loved it. I thought it was so pretty with how it stood out. So I think I'm going to have to dye some fabric because I really liked that. And she found an arched frame at Hobby Lobby, and I happened to walk past our Hobby Lobby's frame section when I was buying more mat board, and they do have several different kinds of arched frames so in their framing section. So I think what I'm going to do is dye my own aqua linen and try to mimic that because hers turned out so cute. So hope you don't mind, Allie. I actually got to meet her at Stitch West last year. She probably doesn't remember, but that's okay. The other options I have for this stitch along are the Lizzie Kate Flip It's. It's the stamp, July stamp. Which is the perfect excuse for me to start this. I have the whole set, and I bought it on like the secondary market, like Stash Unloading. And so it's the perfect time to start them. I bought a large piece of vintage Stormy Night, so a gray that I can stitch it on. And I'm just going to do similar colors. If I have the called for, I'll use it. If I don't, I'll just pick something based off of, I think they do have a DMC conversion, so I'll just stitch something similar if I don't have it. And maybe I'll start doing my monthlies. Maybe my plan is every other month and maybe take a year to do it, like a year and a half to do it. And start every month starting in January, because I think the end of the year goes by so fast. My last option is, what's it called? Hello Summer by Shannon Christine, and that's what this one looks like. And it just has just the watermelon. Again, this is one I've had in my stash for a long time, so I ordered the floss and just getting it all kitted up, so I'll at least get the watermelon part stitched, right? And I do have some fun needle minders that are the clay ones. Like the lemon might have to come off of whichever piece that's on for my lemon tier, and I have a watermelon and I have a strawberry, so those might have to come off and join that stitch along. So join me if you choose. I that's about all that I have going on. So this is kind of a long video. They are kind of getting that way just because it's so long. I'm hoping I'll be able to be a little more frequent now that it's summer and my daughter will be driving. So when I get home from work, once school starts, she will be driving herself um, to work instead of me having to take her. So I'll be able to have some time after I get home from work. So fingers crossed, about once a month, I'll be able to actually get on and do a video. So until next month, see, I'm saying it next month. That'll be end of July. I'll be back with you and show you my progress on the stitch along with Anna and Christy. And I've got, hopefully I'll have that owl stitched for a gift and maybe even my exchange piece started. So anyway, until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.